This is Cheryl Manley from Sharing Love of Paper. I'm so glad you could join me today. Today I'm again using a scrapbooking workshop. This time it's Memories in Bloom. I'm just going to create this 2-page spread though, Project 3, and I'll use it to document our visit to a butterfly rainforest exhibit. Here are the instruction pages for Project 3. This is the left page, and this is the right page. I'll be saving the first 2 projects for another time. I've written on this little paper some of the things I want to change. I want to change the 4x4s to 3x4s. I want to use lots of flip-flaps, and I have several small pictures where 2 of them will replace one 3x4. This is what I have so far. I've cut most of the strips according to the directions. Then they have you score 1/2 inch from the edge, fold, and glue in place so you see the back side of the paper. I've done that for all except this one, and we'll finish this one now. I'll just add a bit of glue. Then fold it over. Most of these I did well, but this one I scored a little too hard and it cut through the paper in a couple of places. Fortunately, that won't show on the layout, but let that be a cautionary tale. Just be aware that you want to be gentle when you score paper. Don't press as hard or go over it as many times as you might with cardstock. So those pieces will get glued down, and these pieces will be brought in. This piece goes something like that. These pieces match up. The green cardstock is sort of a mat for the pictures. Again, I'm using flip-flaps, so I have this picture that will be behind this flip-flap. I have these 2 pictures that will be in place of one. I've decided to overlap the border like this. Then this picture will be behind this flip-flap. You'll notice that I've cut a green mat to mat these, since the smaller photos aren't quite as wide as the 3x4 would have been. Then we've got a similar thing here. This one, and this goes in front. So what we have is this flap will open here to show my journaling. This flap will open this way to show some more pictures in that one, and this flap will open the same way to show these pictures. So those are my flip-flaps. I have this piece that will go somewhere over here. This butterfly rainforest exhibit was in Gainesville, Florida at the University of Florida. I have an extra flower photo here, and this butterfly one here. I guess I really wanted these to be vertical. There are several pieces from the punch-outs and the stickers that are for this page. I'm not sure I'll use all of them. Some of these are not tropical flowers, and this is a tropical rainforest setting, so we'll just see how it goes. I fussy cut this piece from leftover patterned paper after making sure it wasn't needed for the other layouts. It has a more tropical feel to it. I'll just need to make sure I cover the bottom of it in some way. These 3, not sure if I'll use the purple one or not. And this one I thought was okay. Those are available. And this border is designed to be cut in 2 and be added in a couple of places. But the first thing I need to do is create my title. I think I'll cut that using cutting dies, and I'll be right back. Off camera, I die cut my title. I decided the word rainforest could go here on this strip with the word butterfly above it, something like that. While I was cutting that, I discovered I had these words as well, plant joy. I thought I might just throw them in here somewhere. I'm not sure. I'll think about that as I work on adding the embellishments. I'll go off camera and glue this down except for these pictures, these words, and this. I'll glue this down and be back to decide what I'll do for embellishing. Okay, these elements are all glued down. I do wish I had put the letters in the word butterfly a bit staggered to give more the feel of butterflies, but I didn't think about it until it was too late. So now I'm going to start on the embellishing. I've pulled the punch-outs and stickers for this page. I used baby powder on the back of the stickers to remove the sticky so I can more easily try them in different places around the page. I have this piece that says Memories Made Here, Gainesville, Florida. I have another butterfly I can add in. The flip-flaps, of course, are not glued down right now. They're waiting until these pages are put in the sheet protectors because they attach to the sheet protectors. This is the piece I cut from the paper. I could cut some more if I wanted. I could put that there and bring this one over here. These pieces, they've got this one situated about here and this one situated there. I'm not sure if I want to bring them in or not. I do kind of like the idea because I've got a fair amount of orange in the pictures, but I'm just not certain about how they did that. They have this up overlapping the photos a bit, but those photos don't have the orange in them and they're flip-flaps. If I was going to bring it in, I think I would want to bring it in like this, down here somewhere. It does tie in with this photo, and this could go here. I'm not sure I like this coming out from the middle. I'll have to think about this. If I bring it out a little bit lower and maybe don't bring it out quite as far, what else do we have here? This could go here. I really like this one over here because of the color. This could go over here or here. A lot of times I don't like using greenery and flowers for embellishing because it doesn't relate to the theme of the page, but obviously for this layout, flowers were an important part of the exhibit, so these work really well to support the theme. There's another one I could tuck over here. And I have some leftover scraps I could use to mat some of these words if I want. Let's see, I really want something right about there. I could bring this up. I glued it down too close to the edge, so I can't tuck these behind. I'll have to figure out exactly where I want it and then trim it so it looks like it's behind. I also need to remember to make sure I don't have pieces going beyond this edge here. One thing I could also do would be to bring in either some butterfly stickers that I got at the dollar store or die cut some butterflies. Let's see, I could bring this in here. The problem is I don't really want it right there. That's where the pages split. I can't overlap these photos because of the flip-flaps. I could overlap this one if I wanted to. I could bring this in here, maybe cut it about there or add this. That could be interesting. I liked having that bit of orange there. Maybe pull it off here. Maybe I don't need it here. There's a little bit of orange from the flowers here, so that one's okay. It kind of feels like part of that cluster. I could tuck one of these in over here. Does that even need to be there? It would give me something else I could put in here. Could maybe tuck this little word in here. What happens if I put that more as a part of the cluster? I could pull these in this way. I think I want to bring this whole cluster in a bit closer. I keep wondering if this should maybe go up here. Let's try it and bring this in here. No, I don't like that. I'll put it back the way I had it. That needs to go up. Something like that? I think something like that. I'll have to decide if I mat these words using scrap. I could use a different color. I'll go ahead and glue these in place off camera. I may also see if I can find some butterflies to add to it, and I'll be back. Here's the finished page. I really found this layout a bit challenging. I'm not used to using so many different papers and such busy papers, so I'm in a bit of a learning curve about that. You may have noticed that this is a much smaller cluster than I had before. I decided having this in the cluster made it too busy. Instead of having this down here, I moved it up there. I wanted to have it bring the eye up to the title. And then I did this cluster like this. So that's my finished page. These flaps will again open to show the other pictures. I really had wanted to bring some of this cluster over the picture, but it doesn't work with the flip flaps. I'm still learning about using the flip flaps, but despite the fact they limit placement of some things, I really like the ability to add more photos to my page. Notice how I brought the orange color into all three clusters, just a flag of it in the larger cluster. This page is busier than I'm used to, and I don't really care for that. But it's good to stretch one's comfort zone from time to time, and I guess you could say that's what I'm doing with this page. When I look back, I liked it better without most of the embellishments since the paper is so busy. I'll need to be more careful with embellishments in the future when I'm using this much busy paper. Here are the close-ups. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, should you choose to purchase any Stampin' Up! Products, I hope you will choose me, Cheryl Manley, as your demonstrator. It won't cost you any extra, and I'll get a small commission to help pay for my time as I make these videos. I hope you'll click that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Thanks, and have a great day.